And thank you very much. Good evening, everybody, and a warm welcome to our next presentation. My name is Katharina Morlang, and together with my colleagues Heike, Hulse, and Janke, give me your hands. Yes. We represent the German sports youth, and together we drive the project I Coach Kids forward in Germany. The German sports youth represents all youth sports organizations in Germany, and we are very happy to be a partner of the follow-up project I Coach Kids Plus. For this reason, we are also participating in this huge conference, and we are happy to be part of it. The German sports youth developed together with the University of Erlangen in Bavaria a concept for developing the personality and the team in sports. For the past 5 years, we also have been supporting coaches in Germany, especially together with the German Olympic Sports Federation. We want that coaches in Germany receive a good education, that children and young people receive the best possible support of their coaches, and that they can grow up healthy and are made strong for life. Martin Muche, research assistant at the University of Erlangen, an important key partner for us, will now explain to us the concept of personality and team development in sport, which clearly uses the sport itself and targets methods in sport to develop the team, make the team and the athlete more successful. Martin, if you want and if you are ready, you can start now and we will discuss later.
Yes, I'm ready. And I thank you, Katharina, for the friendly introduction and also your reference to our long-standing cooperation in the field of children and youth sports. A positive, realistic self-confidence of the athletes and a good task cohesion within the training group contributes to a long-lasting attachment of athletes in sports. That's why I want to talk about the promotion of psychosocial resources with you today. Dear colleagues and dear coaches in the field of children and youth sports, thank you for joining my presentation today. The topic of my presentation is preventing dropout through the development of psychosocial resources. For that, I do not only want to talk about the interconnection between psychosocial resources and dropout from a scientific perspective. Rather, I want to present specific measures for the promotion of those psychosocial resources which contributes to the prevention of dropout. A wide range of these measures is collected in our unique conceptual framework, personality and team development in sport, which Katharina also mentioned before. And now I have to go to my presentation that it runs better. So, if I say we have a unique framework, I should explain to which extent our framework is unique. There are 5 points I would like to discuss in more detail today. First, our framework takes a close look which psychosocial resources children need to solve the requirements of different sports. Second, the framework enables the promotion of psychosocial resources which are helpful for the prevention of dropout. Third, the framework has a systematic approach with targets and suitable measures to reach these targets. The specific measures are suitable for everyday training, and the framework grew over years from scientific and practical evidence and for practicable feasibility. The first conceptual framework was called Promotion of Psychosocial Resources and was developed by Professor Ralf Zygosz. A presentation at a forum for youth sports in 2001 became the starting point for a long-standing interactive knowledge exchange between science and practice. During the following years, the initial framework was adapted to 5 sports. Additionally, the conceptual framework was scientifically evaluated in the sports of handball and artistic gymnastics. This evaluation study was conducted by our esteemed colleague Christian Hermann and Professor Ralf Zygosz. In all these projects, we learned a lot about the practical implementation of our scientific idea. What we've learned is summarized in the new conceptual framework, Personality and Team Development in Sports. All measures I present today refer to this new conceptual framework. When developing the conceptual framework, the guiding question was, what resources do children and young people need in order to learn effectively in sports, to perform optimally, and to stay attached to the sport in the long term? It quickly became clear that this requires not only conditional, motor, or tactical resources, but also things like self-confidence, the ability to cooperate, cohesion, and concentration. In other words, resources that lie in the psychosocial area. Psychosocial resources also play an important role in the prevention of dropout. Several studies and also the presentation of Katharina today indicate that it is more likely that athletes will maintain their activity if they have a positive realistic self-confidence and if they are well integrated into a training group. Due to this relationship, I will present the structure and the measures of our conceptual framework by using examples for the promotion of self-confidence and task cohesion. For the promotion of self-confidence, cohesion, and 4 more targets, we used a systematic approach to describe resources, develop targets, and choose appropriate measures. To this end, we have taken a close look what scientific evidence tells us about these psychosocial resources. We discussed with experts from selected sports which resources are important in their sport and to which outcome these resources should be promoted. We call these outcomes for the psychosocial development key targets. Also, together with the experts from the selected sports, we considered which sport-specific methods aim at these key targets, or respectively, how the key targets can be achieved in everyday training. All measures for the promotion of psychosocial resources are divided into 3 interconnected areas. In the green area, we describe methods for the planning of everyday training, like picking up current experiences or arranging special exercises for the promotion of psychosocial resources. In the red area, we describe principles for shaping the coach-athlete relationship. And in the yellow area, we describe principles for influencing the athlete-athlete relationship. Now let's have a close look at the examples of the resources, targets, and measures, starting with the promotion of athletic self-confidence. If athletic self-confidence contributes to stay attached in sports, we should consider what constitutes athletic self-confidence, to which outcome we want to promote it, and how we can promote it. The athletic self-confidence includes all the assumptions a person makes about his or her own sporting skills. The athletic self-confidence also includes the individual's conviction that he can apply his sporting skills successfully, also in challenging situations. The athletic self-confidence is influenced by experience of success and failure, by direct and indirect feedback, and by self-comparisons. But to which outcome should the athletic self-confidence be promoted? Successful athletes are usually characterized by the fact that they have a realistic self-concept and a positive expectation of their self-efficacy. In other words, the athlete knows about his skills to control the 7-meter throw. In addition, he is confident that he can master the 7-meter throw even short before the end of the game in case of a tie. Therefore, we have chosen the key target: the athlete possess a positive, realistic self-confidence of his sporting skills. And how can athletic self-confidence be promoted in everyday training? Training and competition offer numerous situations that have an effect on athletic self-confidence. Coaches can pick up these situations and use them for the promotion of self-confidence. For example, it makes a difference if coaches evaluate the success of their team based just on the win or loss of the game, or if they acknowledge the performance of the athletes regardless of the game's result. Often a hard-won, narrow defeat is based on a better performance than a clear victory. Here, coaches should base their feedback on the actual shown performance. In addition to these existing situations, there are specific exercises to arrange situations in which athletes deal with their athletic abilities. One suitable exercise for the promotion of self-confidence is the accompanying self-assessment. Before and after training session, the athletes are asked to give themselves a grade for how they master a special technique. Let us go back to the example of the 7-meter throw. There are several techniques to master a 7-meter throw, and handball players practice these techniques frequently. Before a training session for the 7-meter throw, The athlete rates their ability to show techniques like shooting straight, shooting with the rotation of the ball, shooting with the bounce of the ground, or shooting a lob. Then the athletes start their technique training. Afterwards, each athlete has to give him or herself another school grade for these techniques. Now, the coach can ask the athletes to compare the grades and to explain what they can see. If the grades have changed, the coach can encourage the athletes to find explanations for these changes. As an example, if an athlete's assessment has improved, he could attribute that to the effort he put into training today. There are many reasons for these deviations that athletes will detect. With the help of the accompanying self-assessment, the athletes get a direct feedback about their athletic skills, and they are enabled to reflect their self-concept. Besides these methods, the development of self-confidence also benefits from a good athlete-athlete relationship. If a fearless learning climate exists in the training group, athletes can challenge their limits, mistakes are accepted as part of the learning process, and the athletes support each other with helpful feedback on their performance. You can find more measures for the promotion of self-confidence in our manual. I would like to go further on to the promotion of task cohesion. If cohesion contributes to stay attached in sports, we should consider what constitutes cohesion, to which outcome we want to promote it, and how we can promote it. Cohesion in sports includes both the willingness of a group to achieve selected goals together, as well as the willingness of the individual athlete to contribute to group performance with the fulfillment of individual tasks. In order to deal with sporting challenges, a good task cohesion is required. In order to prevent dropout, social cohesion in the training group is also important. Task cohesion and social cohesion are mutually dependent. The cohesion is influenced by common goals of the group, common rules, rituals, and a clear distribution of tasks. But to which outcome should task cohesion be promoted? Successful teams have a strong task cohesion. They have developed common goals, and each individual contributes to the team performance with his or her individual strengths. Each athlete is willing to do his or her best to achieve the goals of the team. In other words, even while competing for a starting place in the next competition, a judoka helps her teammate to improve her skills. Therefore, we have chosen the key target. The training and competition group uses task cohesion to achieve common goals in training and competition. But how can task cohesion promote it in everyday training? Training and competition offer numerous situations that have an effect on task cohesion. Coaches can pick up these situations and use them to promote task cohesion. For example, the lineup for a training competition does not necessarily have to be determined by the coach. The task of determining the lineup can be given to the athletes. Afterwards, they analyze together with the coach how well the lineup works. Successful lineups should be used for a point game. In addition to these existing situations, there are specific exercises to arrange situations in which the training group deals with the distribution of different tasks. In the exercise called Judo Course, the coach arranges a sequence of different judo tasks, which can be mastered in small teams. Each judoka has to take over at least one active task, and they have to master the course together. After first run, the judokas can consider how they can master the course faster in the next run. In this way, the athletes playfully deal with the distribution of tasks in a competition. In order to promote task cohesion, when designing the coach-athlete relationship, coaches have to take into account that athletes need space for co-determination and participation. This includes that coaches justify the team lineup based on clear criteria and discuss the lineup on an equal footing with their athletes. These were only some examples for the promotion of task cohesion, and you will find also for that more measures in our manual. Because I will now show you some thoughts about the scientific evidence and the practical feasibility of our concept. Right from the start of the concept development, practitioners frequently asked us about the feasibility of the concept and the effectiveness of the measures. For both, I will try a short answer. based on our evaluation research study. For the study, we accompanied 26 coaches over a period of 8 months in realizing the methodical measures. All coaches were given manuals as well as monthly newsletters, and they were trained in preparatory and advanced workshops. The coaches planned the training sessions during this period independently. For the effectiveness of our measures, we got some indications from the problem-centered interviews during the study. The coaches reported positive effects on the promotion of self-concept and task cohesion. One coach notes that the self-confidence of her athletes became stronger and even more realistic. For the task cohesion, another coach stated that her team has grown together during the time of the study. For the feasibility of the concept, we have seen that all coaches developed a deep understanding for the promotion of psychosocial resources, but they gave us also an important hint why the concept worked for them. In the interviews, the coaches told us that especially the workshops with practice of the methods and reflection on the application were important for the feasibility of the concept. Moreover, that leads to the next step we have to face together with the German sports youth. We need to create opportunities for coaches to get knowledge about the promotion of psychosocial resources, to try methods from the framework, and to reflect on their action in coaching youth sports. A first step on our way is done with a new manual, which is available on the website of the German sports youth since today. Nevertheless, we have still much work to do to implement the framework as part of coaches' education. Now for a short conclusion, I have shown you several aspects of our conceptual framework, from the focus on the requirements of different sports, over the systematic approach and the specific measures, up to the effectiveness and the feasibility of the measures. Finally, coaches who use our conceptual framework to develop strong psychosocial resources in their athletes can also become better at developing their athletes' motivation to stay attached to sports in the long term. Now my presentation time ends. I say thank you for your interest, and I'm looking forward if there's any time for questions.
Yes, thank you so much that you shared some insights from POT, Martin.